began my career as a professor pretty much persistently emailing Miami-Dade for a job. Um, Last year, I decided, I was like, listen, there are a lot of things I want to do. I have an adult son, he's 21. I only have one kid. So I was like, I want to do more. You know, I just had this, I don't know, it was just this passion to do higher education. And I've never had time. So, I was raising my son, so I put a lot into motherhood. So when my son graduated from high school, I really decided to fulfill everything I wanted to do personally. So I started emailing Miami-Dade. I think I emailed them for like 5 or 6 months. Like I kept emailing them. And then I decided, hey, let me try another approach. So I started applying for jobs, but then I would email the director of the social sciences department. And that's when I got hired. Actually, I emailed the director and I got a job in like 24 hours after emailing the director. So I was very persistent. I was very persistent because higher education is a little hard to tap into these days. So also, um, going to college professor, I teach student life skills, and I really wanted to teach this course because I have a strong foundation as being an educator. I've had 19 years of experience in education as a teacher and a school counselor, and that equips me with extensive experiences in student development and mentorship. So my passion for guiding others naturally led me to pursue that course in higher education. And I wanted to do that so I can inspire the future leaders. So I've been in K through 12 for a while. I wanted to step it up a little bit and go into higher education. As it relates to real estate, my desire and passion came for real estate in 2008 when I bought my first home. I was 28, my third year teaching, I think was maybe my second or third year teaching. And I decided I wanted to buy me a home. So I became intrigued with the real estate process. I was looking at all of these houses. It was exciting. And then, of course, I felt like, hey, I just got into one career. I need to master this before I seek out another one. So I kind of left real estate alone. And then during COVID, when the world slowed down, that gave me time to really refocus and say, hey, I think I want to start exploring other options, especially because I felt I always had an additional job, but it was a job. I was like, yeah, I'm just doing this to add on because, of course, as educators, we don't make what we should be making as educators. So I've always, tried to have an additional income some type of way, but I needed to be a little bit more fulfilled. I wanted to feel like I'm doing something that actually is another career, not just a job. So I started to pursue real estate, and it came from my desire also to diversify my skills and explore an industry that had always intrigued me. I was always intrigued by real estate. And I realized that my counseling skills, such as like active listening, having empathy and effective communication, they were highly transferable skills to real estate. And helping my clients navigate the emotional and financial aspects of buying a home felt like a natural extension of my role as a counselor, honestly, because buying a house is, or selling a house, it's an emotional roller coaster, more so buying than selling. But I was able to intertwine both of those careers. And it actually, at this point in my life, keeps me very energized and fulfilled. So one thing I had to learn is to prioritize and set very clear boundaries. It is very essential to be intentional with your time and your energy, because I found that planning my schedule in advance and dedicating specific time blocks to my teaching responsibilities and real estate and my personal life allowed me to stay very much so organized and focused. And some days I had to give myself grace because some days are definitely more challenging than others, and that's okay. but I have to live by a calendar. I can't live without my calendar. Every Sunday, I plan out my week. Every single Sunday, I plan out my week.
Hmm.
I do my real estate because I'm going from one job to another to another. So I clear off my calendar. My day stops at 8 p.m. Everything shuts down at 8 p.m. That's the time that I dedicate to home. And on Sundays, I do no work on Sundays. Sundays are my time, my personal wind down, my wind down time for me, and for my family. So Sundays are my days of complete rest. Um, and also, I had to seek out support systems, and I had to seek out mentorship and collaboration with, in real estate, of course, and with colleagues. I use technology, I'm sorry, to streamline some of my tasks, like Calendly. I use oh my God, I love it so much to book all of my consultations and appointments because essentially I'm able to make a calendar and I can send a link to people with my availability and they just, choose which dates are in alignment with their availability. And that keeps me basically on uh it pretty much gives me a set schedule and I'm able to know when I can meet with clients, and I can set out my day. I know how to schedule and plan my day. Um, Pursuing personal tasks and interests, especially side jobs and side projects, can actually enhance our effectiveness, when it comes to being educators as well. And that prevents us from having burnout because being an educator, being in real estate, like I'm juggling two things and I don't need to be burnt out because I still need to show up as an educator Monday through Friday. So, but I also have to show up as a realtor every day of the week. Real estate does not stop, except for Sundays for me. Real estate stops on Sundays. So basically, prioritizing my task and making sure I have a calendar prevents me from completely being burned out. I have to make sure I set boundaries. And especially being a realtor is entrepreneurship. You know, if you don't work, you don't promote yourself, you do not get clients. So I have to spend 8 hours on my job, 16 hours on my dream. And you have to just have that mentality, not physically spending 16 hours, but you have to have that mentality. Just because I clock out from being an educator, I clock in to my other job. And I have to keep on going and making sure I'm setting things on my calendar. I block off time to say, hey, I'm going to create a social media post this day. I'm going to create a social media reel on this day. Hey, I need to schedule clients for this day. I need to follow up with clients between this time. I need to do my lesson plans for my course. I need to grade papers. I block off time for everything in order to stay organized. In addition to that, I'm in school getting my PhD in ethical leadership. So I
Whoa.
have to block off time for that as well. So my time is very intentional. It's very intentional. But creating my calendar, I know it's a lot. My my significant other is like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, I do it and I still come home and cook 3 times a week. And I still, because I am intentional with my time, I waste little to no time being unproductive. Either I'm being productive or I'm relaxing or doing something that fulfills me personally. My entire schedule is filled with productivity or relaxation. It's one or the other. I have no room to entertain things that are not moving me forward in personal or career development. Do is I share practical examples with the students. I share communication strategies, negotiating, negotiating skills, but most of all, ethical decision making. Ethical decision making is always key. I also teach them about time management. Everything I just shared with you, um, I teach with them. I actually had them do an assignment where for 3 days, I said, I need you to write down everything you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep for 3 days. And then I want you to break it down into categories. How many time you spent on your job, school and studying, relaxing, entertainment. They had to break it down into categories. So, and then they had to add up the time for each day that they were spending in each of those categories. That gave them an opportunity to realize how much time they were wasting doing nothing. And also it helps them see a perspective of I need to spend more time being productive than uh, wasting it on other things. You know, they're a little bit younger. They like to play video games. They like to scroll on social media. So it forced them to do some self-reflecting. So that's one way. Teaching them responsibility. Oh my gosh. Teaching them responsibility, especially when it comes to being on time. One thing I am very adamant about is showing up to my class on time. First of all, we're on Zoom. I teach via Zoom, so there's just none of them should be late. But also teaching them to be on time with their assignments because being responsible is synonymous with being on time. When you are on time, it is respectful and it's showing me as a professor that you are respecting my time and you are respecting everyone else's time as well because sh- turning in assignments late shows a lack of irresponsibility. It shows a lack of, I'm sorry, a lack of responsibility. It doesn't show that you're too responsible if you're turning things in late. And that's a reflection. And people will judge you on your productivity and effectiveness if you are constantly late. That is not a good reflection. That is not something you want anyone to think of you. And to make sure that you have integrity when it comes to your work. Everything that my name is stamped on, my business is called Credit to Closing. It's from Fatimah Albergotti. Everything that my name is stamped on, it has to be great. It has to be excellent. So when you turn in your work, I need you to have integrity. I need it to be great. I need it to be your best piece every single time because anything associated with your name, you want people to know that it's greatness. They want to know, oh, if she's attached to it, it must be good, because you want to take pride in every single thing that you do. Um, so aside from teaching them resumes, cover letters, all of those things, academic advisement, where things are on campus, I incorporate things that are going to help them with their own lives and their future careers. Because a lot of things sometimes students don't get, they don't understand the value of time management. And I believe in we have to teach our generation everything I learned late. I want to teach this generation early so they can understand how to incorporate those tools. I didn't learn about the importance of real estate until I got almost 30. But if I taught my son the importance of it when he was a teenager, I taught him about credit, I taught him about finances, and all of these things. And I incorporate that with my lessons with my student as well. So we talk about a lot of things in life, period. It's broad. We have great conversations. I don't always go to the textbook because I have so many life lessons and PowerPoints that I present to them myself, in addition to what's in the textbook. So I really enjoy being a professor because I really love how the students stay engaged because I can tell that they haven't gotten some of these tools to work with, as much as they're getting them right now. Do is I share practical examples with the students. I share communication. I like to go out with my friends to like a local spot every Thursday. So my calendar every Thursday is blocked off. It's called Ricky's. It's in Pepper Pines. I love Ricky's. So every Thursday we have a standing appointment to go there. So no matter what I'm doing, my calendar is blocked off for that time period. So that's just our thing. We like to have fun. If I miss Ricky's, then I'm bummed out. I'm like, I didn't get my time to de-stress with my friends this week. So basically time management and making sure intentional self-care because time management also involves making time for self-care. Like I said, on Sundays, that's my self-care day. I do what I want to do on Sundays. Usually, I'm playing with my dogs. With my significant other, going somewhere with my son. It's just going to the movies. It's just a day to be free and not be tied down to a schedule that day. So, definitely making sure I'm prioritizing my time, um, and setting boundaries. You have to tell people no sometimes. Like Sunday, sometimes I don't get just a lot of time with my friends in this stage that I'm really booming in my career. And sometimes they feel the effects of it. And I'm like, hey, we didn't do what we used to do anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it's my business is taking off. I'm like, listen, I'm doing all of these things. I'll catch up with you later, but I have to make sure that sometimes if they say, hey, let's do this, and I'm like, I gotta say no. I'm like, no, I have an appointment like at 5. I can't do it, or if it's a Sunday and I know Sundays are my days and I have a, a client that is like, well, on Sunday I'll be able to do this. I'm like, sorry, I'm not available. Like, no matter what, I'm not available because once I once I start letting others impede on my personal time, then I'm doing a disservice to myself. So making sure I set those boundaries and have that time schedule that's intentional, it really, really helps me to completely avoid my burnout. That's what helps me. And sometimes I don't like telling people no, especially my clients. I hate telling them no, but I know if I tell you yes, then I'm taken away from me. So I'm like, I got to do what I have to do to keep going. And if telling them no sometimes is no, it's no, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
I
delegating tasks, delegate.
Ooh.
Oh, I have to delegate sometimes, especially when it comes to my house and my home. And if I can't get the groceries and I can't do, I'm like, listen, hey, somebody go pick up the groceries. I ordered them. Hey, somebody go pick them up. Or, making sure that wherever my family can pick up the slack, I ask them to do things because, you know, um, as women sometimes in taking care of our families, we like to be superwoman. We're like, oh, I got it. 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 Nope, I don't always have it. Nope. Hey, nope, I can't do it. Could you help me out with this? You think you can? And it pretty much flows great in my household, being able to depend on them to pick up the slack where I can't, and they let me know, like, hey, if you can't, let us know because they're so used to me doing everything that now I'm in the phase like, hey, I need you guys to do it. And I try not to overcommit myself. Overcommitting yourself causes burnout because again, I'm integrity is everything to me. When I give people my word, I give you my word. And I do not like to not keep my word. So sometimes I might overcommit and try to squeeze things in. And I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I've committed and I'm like, I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to do it. And then I've done all of these things. Then I've burnt myself out for the day. So I had to stop overcommitting and saying no. Sometimes I can't do it this day, but I can do it this day. So making sure those boundaries are set and they are clear and telling people no sometimes and understanding your limits definitely has prevented me um, from being burnt out and to maintain a healthy work balance. Oh, you know what I would say is you have to be willing to embrace change. You have to embrace change and be very open to new opportunities. Feeling stuck often stems from fear. When you feel stuck, it's like, I don't know what to do. I know I need to change something. I don't know what I need to change though. So you have to have a fear from the unknown, or a reluctance to leave your comfort zone. You have to leave your comfort zone. There is no way. I didn't start prospering until I left my comfort zone. Things that like I'm on social media, but I don't make videos. I don't try to sell things. I'm like, but listen, I'm in real estate. People know me as an educator. So how do I get them to respect me as a realtor so they can understand that I know what I'm doing? So I had to be a little bit more vocal on social media as a realtor. I don't really speak too much about being an educator on social media because I need you to respect me in my profession as a realtor. The more I talk about real estate, the more I make videos, the more I post, the more I put tips, then people gravitate towards that a little bit more. But that required me stepping out of my comfort zone a lot. So I would say if I would have stayed in my comfort zone, I would have never been here progressing in my passion and one of my passions, as a realtor, or as a professor. If I would have stayed in my comfort zone, I wouldn't have been applying and emailing because I don't like to bother people. I feel like I'm bothering people. I don't like that. I'm like, oh, I applied. If they want me, they'll call me. I'm like, no, I need to start emailing. I need to be a little bit I need to go a little harder to get what I want. That doesn't mean I'm bothering anybody. I need to be a little bit more ambitious. I had to step out of that comfort zone and say that, hey, I need to talk to people more. I need to be selling myself as a realtor. I need to be in front of this camera more. I need to be open up to new opportunities so I can grow. So I would definitely encourage people to explore their other interests and seek mentorship, invest in your personal development. And sometimes a slight shift in perspective or a new experience can really reignite your passion. And it can lead to a lot of unexpected fulfillment in different career paths. So self-assessment, decide what motivates me, what am I passionate about, what do I like, and create a path and create a plan to explore that and step out of your comfort zone. You have to stay. And I know it's cliche to say because people told me that all the time. And I'm like, no, I think it took me like over a year to get my first real estate deal because I didn't step out my comfort zone. I'm like, okay, I'm a realtor, but no, I need to be promoting myself. I need to be talking to people. So every day I had to realize I have to talk about my business every day. Every day when I talk to people, randomly, I was at a New Year's Eve party. I'm talking to people about real estate. I got 3 clients. Randomly, I'm at a birthday party. I'm talking to people about real estate. I get another client. Like talking to people, networking and engaging and really talking about your business or whatever it is that you want to pursue. You have to step outside the box and you have to put in the work. Create a plan, decide what you want to do first, and create a path, create a career path to how you want to get there and execute it and put it on your calendar. Put the steps on your calendar every day. When I decided I want to be as a realtor, I said, okay, on this day, I'm going to sign up for real estate school. Okay, signed up for real estate school on this day. Okay, I'm going to be finished the class by this day and take the final test. Yep, did it, failed it. All right, by this day, I'm going to take it again. You have to put everything on your calendar, everything that you want to do, that you desire. I put it on my calendar. And putting it on your calendar again helps you with that mental commitment. Like it's like, okay, I said I'm going to do it and execute it. So definitely stepping out of your comfort zone is basically instrumental in making sure that you don't feel stuck or unsure in your career path. Because if you do and you feel stuck, decide what else you want to do because my business, I'm going to retire soon, maybe another 7. I think I have like 7 more years to retirement. So my path is, hey, when I retire, I'll be a full entrepreneur. Like this is what I'll do after retirement. I'm going to continue to work for myself and get my retirement check. So you have to just decide what's your path and make sure you dedicate time on your calendar to pursuing your goals and doing what needs to be done and taking the steps and execute. And it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. It's going to be nervous, but you have to let your excitement outweigh your fears. And that is the best advice I can give when it comes to educators on that. Definitely step out of your comfort zone because we have so many skills as educators. We have so many things that we can do and we just love being educators. But now I educate people in a different context. I educate them as a college professor. I educate them as a realtor because as a realtor, I teach people in order for us to buy a home, I have to go through the home buying process with you. I have to educate you. I educate you people on mortgage loan credit also. We do a lot of clients I know they need credit consultations. We do credit. We do the mortgage lender. I teach them about the pre-approval process, the inspection, escrow, appraisal, all of that. It's educating people. So being an educator and using those transferable skills that I've accumulated has been key to being successful in where I'm going. So I think educators are the center of the universe. Like we can do so many other things that relates to education that still is fulfilling to us because it's always fulfilling to me when we close a deal and someone is able to buy a home and they're able to have that dream fulfilled for them, and I'm teaching them the process and they're learning things and they're learning that because we were educators because we like the reward of teaching people. So find out how else you could transfer that skill into something else that you're passionate about it and add on to your income and create another path for yourself that will be fulfilling, just as fulfilling. but don't burn yourself out. Keep the calendar.